Mr. Ben, you may have lost some weight, but you've lost none of the chops.
Oh, you're
which is
very kind.
all good. Welcome back to Andertons TV, everybody. I'm Lee, and this
I'm Ben. It's
is
lovely
the
to be
glorious Ben Smith, yes. What was that song called? Was that called I Got Those M25 Blues?
That was called the I've Been Stuck on the M25 for 5 hours blues, yeah.
So yes, well, thanks for coming down to Guildford today, Mr. Ben.
It's a pleasure.
We're here to talk to you today about a new range of acoustic guitars from the people at Gibson called the Generations series. They're something old and something new, something borrowed and with a bit of the blues. I just made that up literally on the spot. I'm quite proud of myself. So Generation series, as you can see, all of the classic Gibson family shapes. So LOO, J45, Songwriter, which is, I guess, is their kind of closest thing to a dreadnought, and J200. But in a new, super affordable, I say super affordable, everything's relative, right?
Yeah, comparative.
Super affordable compared to what the rest of the Gibson acoustic range costs you. American built, Montana built, so same factory, handmade, beautiful. Tell us the specs, Mr. Ben.
Well, they all have solid spruce tops. They all have walnut back and sides with mahogany necks.
Solid walnut back and sides.
Solid walnut back and sides. Yes. Sorry, yeah, I should have said that. Mahogany necks and ebony fingerboards, I think. And the new design feature is they all have sound ports in the top.
Player port.
Player ports, sorry, not sound ports.
So yeah, I think probably the big news here, and we'll deep dive into some of the tones here. The big news here is just the pricing now on this range of guitars. So starting with the LOO, which is a non-electro acoustic, that's going to be $899, which is crazy. English pounds money, obviously. The J45, or G45 as they're calling it now, just over £1,000, and again, non-electro. Once you jump into the cutaway electros, there's a bit of a jump in the price, but it goes up to about $1,400 for the Songwriter and about $1,700 for the J200. But again, we're literally talking between a half and a third of what, like, the regular, original series.
Yeah, that's an amazing price.
Big, yeah. They're all a little narrower than their sort of conventional brethren. As Ben said, player port, which we'll talk about in a minute. The two cutaways have got pickups in them, so same pickup that you see on a lot of these, where you've got a little volume control inside here and the output on the end pin. Same scale length as the normal versions of these. So can we start with the LOO? And then we'll just start we'll do the first two just using the mics, and the second two a mix of the mics.
Absolutely.
And so. Oh. Who doesn't like a sort of a small-bodied parlour-style acoustic guitar?
I love parlour. I mean, my main acoustic guitars are parlour guitars. I love them, and yeah, this is a fun one, especially the price, man.
It's a good price. I mean, there's plenty of top-end, Chinese-made stuff that's going to be similar dough to that. I should say as well, not to be shortchanged. Super deluxe gig bags included in the price of all these. Nice. I do like that a lot.
Yep.
Can we just do some big, stylistically, if you're going to buy a parlour guitar, for me, I'm always kind of thinking that it's perhaps it lends itself more to that sort of finger picky kind of more articulated kind of style of guitar rather than big giganto strummer, but it can do that.
Well, do some strata too. Let me put it in drop D just for.
You're gonna play some Rage Against the Machine on a.
Yeah, that's it. But I think people always think that little small body guitars are going to be they're going to sound small, whereas actually they just have, to my ears, they've just got a more pronounced mid-range.
They project differently, don't they?
Yeah, that's it. So the kind of finger-picking delicate stuff.
It's a great guitar. It's it's absolutely one of my all-time favourite guitars. We're going to do the demo of the difference that player port makes to the player when we plug the G45 in, so hold tight for that one. Again, other features that are common to the range, that they are all a satin sort of finish, there's no binding. Both of those things are really taken away just to sort of remove cost without necessarily bringing like the quality of the guitar down.
I was gonna say, it's aesthetics rather than kind of practical construction stuff, isn't it?
You know, good quality Grover tuners, all the good stuff. So let's move on now to the G45, and we'll show you the kind of the clever way that we're going to try and demonstrate player port. But the first bit of this video will just be the same. The microphone on the front, and again, I think pay special attention to how the bass end maybe comes out a little bit better here, and the mid-range sits slightly lower in the mix, but you'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think my favourite thing to play on any kind of G or J45 is a G chord.
I have the best job in the world. Just sit opposite super talented guitar players and talk about guitars all day long.
This is lovely, yeah.
Really like that. The J45, sometimes known as the working man, you know, it's a... People will argue what's the most iconic Gibson acoustic of all time, and let's be fair, they've got some iconic acoustics. For me, that vintage Sunburst J45 is the one.
Me too. Me too.
I love that. I'm surprised really as well. They call this the slope shoulder. Maybe if Ben holds up, the shoulders, so these bits here. You can see on most Dreadnought style guitars have a slightly squarer shoulder. I'm surprised more people don't do like a round shoulder or slope shoulder kind of version, but it's quite uniquely Gibson.
It is. I mean, I really like it. The J45 or the G45 is that's my kind of Dreadnought size guitar of choice, really. But.
So we are going to have a quick addition of a microphone to show you what the player port does, and we will be back in 2 seconds. So a little bit of background on player port and where it came from. Maybe we can have on screen now a cool picture of a prototype guitar from Gibson from the 60s.
Yes.
Where they were playing around with having a hole here. Basically for the sole reason that if you think about where an acoustic is designed to project out here, and where your ears are, if the only person that you're playing to is yourself, there you can see why the concept of putting a hole sort of more pointed towards your ears would make sense. And, you know, Gibson aren't the first people to do this, and I think if you look across the history of acoustic guitars, I'm thinking of, you know, guitars like Ovation have messed around with holes in different places. Tacoma was a brand, I think, put holes in different places.
There's a lot of kind of, you know, luthiers who, you know, kind of
F-holes back in the day, you know, on old jazz guitars where they didn't have a sound hole at all, a conventional sound hole. So I don't think we're talking about, this has never been done. What was the guitar you said you had that had a...
I've got a guitar that was made by a guy called David Anthony Reed, and it's got a sound port at the top, which is great. And I know that some people I've spoken to about them say that they also are good for adding bass response, particularly to kind of smaller body guitars.
I see.
Okay, like a bass port. Anyway,
so I'm going to remove this microphone now because you don't need to hear this microphone for this part of the demo. You're just hearing this microphone, so we're trying to emulate, if you like, what Ben's ears are hearing. Right. I'm going to, in fact, you know what? I'm going to get rid of my jangly watch and bracelet as well. I am going to basically put my hand over the sound hole whilst Ben is playing, hopefully emulating how the guitar might sound if it wasn't there. And you're going to hear what this mic is picking up. Now, we've already done this in tests, and all I would say is actually what the human ear hears is more than what the microphone picks up. So bear that in mind. Again, this is a good demo for you to maybe go to your local Gibson dealer and check this out yourself. But trust me, it does make a bit of a difference. Not like oh my God, sell every guitar that you've got that doesn't have one difference, but enough to go, I see the point.
It's subtle and it's nice when you're playing it.
Okay.
So, yeah. Okay.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Hopefully a useful demonstration. That's the G45. And now we're going to move on to the Songwriter.
It's definitely worth trying that out for yourself if you get a chance, because it's much more obvious when you're playing the guitar.
Okay, so here's the generation version of a Songwriter called a G-Writer. It's very slightly different in terms of its overall size to the J45, but it's probably going to be the closest sounding to the J45.
I think so.
Obviously, you've got the cutaway, and this first bit is just going to be the microphone, and then we'll show you how it sounds through the amp.
All right.
Nice recovery.
Was it that obvious? I forgot what key I was in.
So what do you think? What's your, relative to, what's the Songwriter maybe doing that might lean a guitar player towards that, perhaps, as opposed to one of the first two?
I mean, it feels quite a lot smaller than the G45, and I know it's not that much smaller.
Wow.
But I don't know why it feels smaller. I think maybe the cutaway does it a bit. I like these fret markers.
I really like the fret markers
very
as well.
cool.
It's almost like a more deluxe vibe to it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, it feels kind of more
like piano
1920s.
key, aren't they? Really nice.
But it's a very comfortable guitar to play. The neck's all the same shape on these, because this feels...
I must admit, there's nothing in the spec to suggest that the necks are different, but
it feels a little narrower, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, not in a different way to the G45. But yeah, it's a nice playing guitar. It doesn't have quite the same kind of bass response as the G45.
It's funny, isn't it? I always kind of feel like I never fully understood why they decided to name their more dreadnoughty guitar a Songwriter. I always sort of think, why wouldn't you just lean on the Hummingbird kind of heritage a bit more? Because it's kind of that. But I suppose, apart from the fact, perhaps to call it a Hummingbird, perhaps you have to etch the scratch plate and do all that kind of stuff.
I'd have thought so.
But that's, essentially that guitar is more akin to the shape of something like a Hummingbird. But the Songwriter is a super popular guitar from Gibson. Yeah. Okay, so let's have a little listen with the pickup. We're going into a little Fishman loud box here, keeping all the EQs super flat, so not doing too much. And this next segment won't be the mic; it'll just be the DI from the amplifier.
Cool. So this is the
Wow! I mean, it's such a powerful sound, isn't it?
It'd be a great gigging guitar, I have to say.
Yeah. And you got this really, really nice, neat volume control for the guitar. Maybe we can zoom right in there and just show people what it's. Yeah, and that's pretty common now on electroacoustics, but much nicer, I think. In fact, there would be the challenge. Where would you even put the volume and preamp knobs?
I don't know. It's true. And there's a little battery bag in there as well.
You know what? I think Oz pointed out the best possible use for this player port thing. That's when you drop your plectrum inside. You just go like that, and it falls out straight away. It's like what an unbelievably handy invention.
That is.
Should we do the last one then?
Let's do that.
The J200. So here we are, big J200, massive sound, lots of famous artists from, Elvis Presley through to Noel Gallagher are associated with this kind of guitar. It's the biggest acoustic guitar that Gibson make. It's probably the biggest acoustic guitar you'll just see generally, isn't it?
I can certainly feel my arm up a lot after playing the others, yeah.
So again, it's just the whole thing is going to that next level of just going more bass end, more power strummy, less likely to appeal to someone that wants to do sort of little delicate-y kind of things on it.
I would say.
It's a great looking guitar though, isn't it? So,
it does look cool, yeah.
Let's go.
See how it sounds. Okay, I'm going to start with the big loud strums on this one, I think.
And he didn't play Wonderwall. I don't know whether to be relieved or disappointed.
Very relieved.
So I should also say as well, nice and easy colour choice on the Generation series. It's natural, or natural. So yeah, these four guitars are the complete range. Should we plug that one in? See how it works with its pickup.
Not a bad sounding pickup.
I'm pretty impressed with the whole range.
Yeah.
I kind of feel that would be my only real criticism of the Gibson range up until now, is that there's just nothing remotely affordable within there. It's all £3,000 and upwards kind of stuff. So I mean
that one.
Wow, $899. Who is not gonna have a little inkling to go out and grab one of those?
That's my favourite one.
I get it. I get it that $899 is not like back of the sofa money for most of us, but for a really nice keeper of an acoustic guitar.
It's a lot of acoustic guitar for 900 quid, isn't it?
That's really it. I mean, have you got a kind of I suppose I don't want to feel like the whole conversation is around player port, because I think there's a lot more to the guitars than just that. Yeah. Totally didn't mean to do that. But I guess it's probably the thing that most people are going to have an opinion on. So, what can you say as the non-salesman person that we just asked to come in and just give your honest opinion on guitars that we demo? What do you tell me? What do you think? What are you getting?
I like them. This little one particularly is my favourite. But that's my own personal taste as much as anything. But I mean, it's an American-made Gibson guitar for less than £1,000. I mean, it's a lot of fun. The player port is nice. It's not a deal breaker in terms of I wouldn't not choose a guitar because of one or choose one, vice versa. But it's a nice thing to have. But they're all really nice sounding guitars.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the summary. Ben and I are going to have a little noodle out now on our preferred two axes.
Which is your favourite?
Are you going that? I just like the J45. I think there's something about the simplicity of a J45 that's always drawn me to it. I'm guessing you want to play this one out because you keep saying that's your favourite.
I would like to.
That's probably my second favourite one, so that's cool.
I mean, those two are my favourites, but that's...
If, by the way, if you're thinking that you want one of these two, the L00 or the J45, and not having a pickup is a pain for you, just contact Andertons. We've got a whole ton of different pickups that we can fit as aftermarket pickups. We can literally do exactly the same as what's in those two, or we do the K&K range, super popular, dead easy to fit. So you can make these electroacoustic, no problemo. Should we jam out?
Let's do it.
Okay.